Greetings and thank you for being here to learn a little bit about Advanced Opportunities. My name is Tina Polishuk and I'm the statewide coordinator for Advanced Opportunities. I want to start out by saying thank you to all of you that assist with the implementation of this program. I know that it's not always the easiest program to implement, however, it is critical to the success of our students. And on behalf of the State Department of Education, I want to genuinely express my gratitude. I want to start out with the big idea. Where did Advanced Opportunities come from and why do we do it? Several years back, the State Board of Education set a goal that 60% of Idaho students would go on to college. But more importantly, that 60% of Idahoans between ages 25 and 34 would have some sort of post-secondary credential. And so Advanced Opportunities was built to target this goal from the K-12 level. And so what we do is we allow students to accelerate on a track as early as 7th grade, earn college credit while they're still in high school, take credit-bearing and professional technical exams, receive state aid for graduating early, and all these things can be paid for by Fast Forward. And with these efforts, we're thereby increasing the college going on rates in Idaho. I want to start out with providing some definitions of what are Advanced Opportunities. According to State Board Policy 3Y, there are 4 types of Advanced Opportunities, and those are dual credit, advanced placement, international baccalaureate programs, and career and technical education. Now, when students dabble in these programs, they are very likely to accrue some sort of fee, because if a student is taking an AP test, there's a fee for the test. Or if they're dabbling in dual credit, there's a fee associated with the college where the teacher is credentialed. And so the Fast Forward program then is a program that provides funding for students to use if they are participating in these Advanced Opportunities. Previous to the current Fast Forward program, there were 4 types of programs that provided funding for Advanced Opportunities. Those programs were 8 and 6, the Fast Forward program, dual credit for early completers, and Mastery Advancement program. They were very complicated and each had their own caps. However, in 2016, the legislature came together and they brought forth a package that simplified the implementation of the program. And so now, starting July 1st of 2016, the Fast Forward program looks like this. Each student in the state of Idaho who attends a public school has access to $4,125 in grades 7 through 12. They can use their funding 3 different ways: for overload courses, dual credits, and exams. So we're going to take a few moments to unpack each of these. An overload class is the first way that a student can use their funding. By definition, an overload class is this. It's a high school level class that is above and beyond the student's full credit load. Therefore, if your school offers 7 periods in a semester, that means over a school year, you'll offer 14 credits. So an overload course would be a 15th credit, meaning if a student meets the 14 credit minimum requirement and then takes a class over the summer, in the evenings, on their own time, that class would be considered an overload class. For such courses, we can pay up to $225. In most cases, an overload class will be $75, and IDLA is the largest provider of these courses. We also see some students dabbling in courses such as from BYU Independent Study or school districts that offer them locally. The next way that students can use funding is for dual credit. We can pay up to $75 per credit. Now, in most cases across the state, dual credits will be $65 a credit. Generally, those are courses that are taken on the high school campus. Students can also access dual credit courses online, and we also see a handful of students who actually go to the college or university campus to take the class. If they choose this option, oftentimes they are charged either partial or full tuition, in which case we can pay up to $75 per credit. way students can use their funding is for an exam. There are 4 types of exams that Fast Forward can pay for. Those are Advanced Placement, or AP, International Baccalaureate, IB, Professional Certification exams through their CTE programs, and then the CLEP exams. Now, in the previous iteration of the funding, we were able to pay for $90 per exam. Now we can pay for the full cost of the exam. 2 things to note. The first one is related to CTE courses. CTE approves a list of industry recognized exams. That list is available on our website, and so if you have questions about whether the exam your students are taking is available for funding or not, then you want to check out that list. But it has to be an industry recognized exam. Also, we see some school districts get very creative with their CLEP exams that students are taking. So things like this occur. We see students who come from Spanish-speaking homes, or they take a Spanish class at school, and then at the end of the semester, they all go to the community college to take the CLEP exam. If they successfully pass that exam, they can earn up to 16 college credits in that area. And so more and more that CLEP initiative is becoming very popular across the state. Moving right along, there are 2 things I want you to be aware of. July 1st of 2016, all students are starting with a clean slate. So if a student had utilized funds from the 8 and 6 program or the Fast Forward program prior to July 1st of 2016, that money is not deducted from their 4125. All students are starting with a clean slate. The second thing to keep in mind is that all students need to sign a participation form. That form needs to be kept on file with the school. It is very important that students who participate understand all the risks involved in participating in advanced opportunities, because those are higher level, more difficult classes that are rigorous and are also part of permanent records both at the high school level and on their college transcript. I also want to take a moment to discuss the difference between technical competency credit and technical dual credit. If you have students who are on a CTE pathway, they may have options to take courses for technical competency credit or technical dual credit. TCC credits, technical competency credits, are generally $10 a credit. Those cannot be paid for by Fast Forward. However, if a student is taking a technical dual credit, that means that that class is the equivalent of a college level class. It's $65 per credit, and a student can indeed use their Fast Forward funds for that. This comic says, "Don't tell them we failed, tell them we decided to temporarily postpone our success." In some cases, you might have students who are taking a class and using Fast Forward funds, and you find out that the student failed the class, failed to earn credit. And so in that instance, the easiest way to go about this is to take the student out of the portal and not even apply Fast Forward funds towards that class. In that case, if the student is failing the class, have the student pay for that class on their own. In that case, they're not jeopardizing further Fast Forward funding. However, if a student fails a class that was paid for by Fast Forward, then the next class that they take needs to be paid for by the student. And the way the statute is worded is that it needs to be a like course. So if a student fails an overload course, they need to pay for the next overload course on their own dime. If they failed a 3-credit dual credit course, then the next 3-credit dual credit course they're paying for on their own. When it comes to exams, school districts have some flexibility to determine whether a student can continue to use funds. So that is at the discretion of the school district in the case of a student failing an exam. I also want folks to consider what kind of learning pathway the student is aiming for. In some cases, you'll have students who take the traditional 4-year pathway through high school with no bells and whistles. More commonly, we're going to see students who are taking 10 to 15 dual credits, and in school districts where programs are very robust, that silver level is usually 20 to 30 dual credits. And then you're going to have students who are aiming for something close to an associate's degree, somewhere between 45 to 65 dual credits. Now, please be aware that those students are generally 3 to 5% of the population. There are a lot of parents and students who get very excited about the idea of earning an associate's degree while they're in high school, and realistically, it's only appropriate for a very small percentage of the population, because chances are those students normally won't participate in sports, won't participate in things like student council or music, because the coursework that they're taking is extremely rigorous. A more realistic goal to set for students is anywhere between 10 and 30 dual credits, and perhaps have them aim for the GEM framework or the GEM certificate, which is the Gen Ed core of 36 credits, which I can talk about in just a second. I also want you to think about what type of program is available at your school. We definitely want school districts to think about how they can incentivize more teachers to become certified in dual credit AP and CTE. Also think about how you can modify the way that your 4 to 6 year learning plan is framed to include more options that are advanced opportunities. Strategic advising, making sure that all those conversations start with the end in mind so that students aren't wasting their time on rigorous courses that don't necessarily help them along their career pathway. And then, how do you create a career-centered culture in your school? Here are some resources that are particularly helpful to those folks that are advising students. ID Transfer is a wonderful website that talks about the GEM framework and also has guidance in terms of transferability of courses for public institutions across the state. The Next Steps Idaho is also a very popular website. I want to take a moment now to navigate to the Advanced Opportunities site and show you a few more resources. To get to our site, you go to sde.idaho.gov, and the fastest way to find advanced opportunities is to go under Students and Getting a Jump Start on College. Here's the information, basic information for school personnel. I do have a blog, so anytime I send out an email notification, I also post that information here on the Advanced Opportunities Update blog. So anything related to deadlines, how to use the portal, that will all be there. When you navigate to the bottom, there's some information that may be helpful. You'll have the Advanced Opportunities brochure. You have it in Spanish as well. The legislation, approved exams. Here's a video of a student who's utilizing that. Here are video instructions for students as to how they sign up. Here's an example of the participation form. And then here is the general education matriculation framework. If you have students that aren't completely sure of what they want to do and you're need some guidance as to how to advise them, then this framework can earn them a GEM certificate through one of the community colleges. And so this framework may be of interest. We also have examples of learning plans here and a sample of a learning plan where a student is earning 45 credits. Lastly, I want to navigate you to this training site here, and this is everything related to the portal and how the program operates from the district level. So if you have questions, please navigate there. If you need our contact information, right here under regional coordinators, you'll have information for my team. Here's contact information for all the dual credit programs for the state and the overload course providers. If you have any questions, please feel free to reach out. Know that we are here to help, and best wishes to you as you learn to implement the Advanced Opportunities programs at your school.